talk to you about no idea. Well, I'd ask you to give me your view on this idea. How do you, as a GM or a player, handle possession? Now, when I say that, I mean
Well,
as a GM, how do you handle a player?
That's an interesting question. How do game masters handle possession? How do players handle possession in game? Well, it's a difficult question. That's why you're asking it, I suppose. But allow me to answer your question with a story. You see, I was lucky enough to play with a genius. And I'm not exaggerating. I honestly feel that I had an opportunity to play with a game master, the likes of whom I will probably never meet again. And we were, posthumously celebrating his birthday not recently. All of us scattered around the world. And so stories have been on my mind. And your question about possession reminded me of a truly fantastic game. His take on Shadowrun, actually, in which a possession took place. And the possessed character was the de facto leader of our group. And unbeknownst to us, became possessed at a very inopportune time and was possessed for a very long period. And the way that this was handled was completely invisible to the rest of us, and that's why I thought I'd share this story with you. And I'll try to keep it short. Essentially, they would communicate by means of body language that they had worked out before. So the player had complete knowledge that their character had been possessed and was told that, for all intents and purposes, his soul was elsewhere, and that the possessing entity would be imitating him for its own purposes. So he could basically play his own character most of the time. But there were specific objectives that this possessing entity had that it needed to fulfill. And so this behavior could either be triggered by the game master, or the need to fulfill a goal might be recognized by the player, and they could signal each other, and they could have open conversations in front of us without any of the rest of us being the wiser. So the way that this would go, and I have no idea what the game master's signal was to the player. I suppose I should ask him. But on the player side, he revealed to me long after the game had ended that every time he took the tie or the elastic off of his ponytail to shake his hair out, which seemed like a very natural thing to do after hours and hours of playing. Whenever he would let his hair down, he was behaving in a manner that was to satisfy one of the possessing entity's goals, and the game master would take that and make note of it, and they could have their coded conversations with us, never having any idea that he'd been possessed until he was restored. And well, that's a story for another day.